You know, I built my life on an idea of never quit. See, growing up in Camden, quitting wasn't survival. You either pushed forward or you got swallowed up by your environment. See, that mentality carried me straight into my IT career, from entry-level clerical work to computer operations, from troubleshooting systems to leading teams. I climbed through discipline, grind, and grit, pushed harder, outworked everyone, and had to control the outcome. See, I thought that was strength. But Proverbs 16:9 says, a man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his paths, his steps. See, I was devised my own way, but I had not surrendered my steps, and that nearly became my downfall. See, strength without surrender becomes stubbornness. See, leadership without humility becomes control. And if that already resonates with you, if you know God is pressing on your spirit, make sure you subscribe right now, because we build faith here that is practical, powerful, and rooted in Scripture. So subscribe to the Burning Empowerment of Your Soul. Also check the website out on burningempowermentofyoursoul.com. So now let's go deeper. See, the religion of control is, when I transitioned from Camden, that Camden grit into the IT leadership, I carried that survival instinct into the boardroom. See, into those meetings, those projects, those deadlines, those system upgrades. Everything had to run tight. Every single minute, every single second had to be accounted for. And when my team offered maybe different perspectives, I tightened my grip even further. See, I mistook control for competency. See, Psalms 127:1 says, except the Lord built the house, they that labor in vain build it. See, I was building systems, but I wasn't surrendering my sovereignty to God. That's when Abraham's story hit me differently. See, in Genesis 12:1, it says, get thee out of thy country unto the land I will show thee. Notice that God did not give Abraham, he didn't give him a full blueprint. He just gave him a direction. Leadership maturity begins when you trust direction more than the details. And if you want weekly biblical leadership insights like this, read Scripture and real application, join us, subscribe. See, Abraham's first surrender and leaving his security when Abraham left he left familiarity, he left stability, he left control. See, Hebrews 11:8 says, by faith Abraham went out, not knowing whether he went. Not knowing is the key part. That is surrender. See, in IT leadership, I had to leave something too. I had to leave the need to be indispensable, because when everything runs through you, everything slows because of you. That control creates bottlenecks. Abraham surrendered geographically, and I had to surrender my ego. See, that there's a waiting in this season, right? See, in Genesis 15:5, this waiting season I'm talking about, so shall thy seed be promised, declared. But the son didn't arrive immediately. See, years passed. Delay is not denial. See, Romans 4:20 says, Abraham staggered not at the promise of God. See, in my Camden to IT journey, promotions were delayed. Opportunities were slowed. Recognition didn't come when I expected it to. But James chapter 1:3 says, the trying of your faith worketh patience. Patience isn't passive, but it is disciplined trust in God. See, if you rush Isaac, you produce Ishmael. And many leaders are exhausted because they forced their outcome that God never sanctioned. The Ishmael lesson here is in Genesis chapter 16 shows Abraham trying to help God. Control stepped in and Ishmael was born. Impatience produced unnecessary conflict in his life. Leadership without surrender produces unnecessary friction. How many workplace conflicts are just modern Ishmaels? Projects birthed from ego instead of obedience. Processes driven by fear instead of faith. Galatians 5:1 says, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty where Christ has made us free. See, control enslaves us. Surrender liberates us. See, in Genesis 22, the mountain moment here is where what's in Genesis 22 says, take now thy son, the promise, the blessing, the fulfillment. God asked Abraham to surrender what he had himself been given. Genesis 22:3, and Abraham rose up early. No delay, no negotiation, just obedience. That leadership provision comes after surrender. And see, in Genesis 22:14, it says, Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. And if this part is strengthening your faith right now, don't just listen. Lock in, hit the subscribe button and the notifications as well. See, the Camden to the IT moment for me in my mountain, there came a moment in my career where I had to surrender a system that I built, a process I defended, a structure that I believed in, and the Spirit pressed on me. Are you protecting the mission or are you protecting your pride? That question changes everything. See, Philippians 2:8 says, Christ humbled himself. Nobody humbled him. He humbled himself. There's a difference between humiliation and humility. Humiliation is external. Humility is a voluntary surrender to God. When I chose humility, something shifted. Tension left the room. Ideas flowed. Team members stepped up. Influence expanded, because leadership isn't about being the hero. It's about knowing how to recognizing the hero, and it's about building heroes as well. See, 3 surrenders for today that you need to understand is, the first one is surrendering your timeline. See, Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there's a season. Number 2, surrender your ego. See, in Genesis 17, Abram becomes Abraham. His identity shifts with his ego once he yields. See, in the third one is surrender the outcome. See, in Genesis 22:8, God will provide. If you're serious about growing your faith and leadership, hit the subscribe button. See, we are building surrendered leadership here. See, because Abraham became the father of faith, not because he conquered nations, but because he conquered himself. He surrendered certainty. He surrendered comfort. He surrendered even the promise. Hebrews 11 honors him not for control, but for trusting in God. True strength isn't clenched fists. It's open hands. So here's my question. What is your Isaac? What are you gripping that God is asking you to trust him with? Comment below. I read all these different comments that you make. And if this message has helped you, share it with somebody else and blog with them. And until next week, Monday at 6, God bless you and take care.